The mindset of an inspired generation. Power 98.7. Now we're talking.
25 minutes before 8. Now to one of my favorite parts of Power Business is the SME grind, where we speak to entrepreneurs about their journey. And tonight we're speaking to Londeka Buthelezi-Ndaba, the founder of luxury fashion brand Malondié. She joins us in studio. And Londeka started out selling clothes from overseas, from her apartment, to launching a proudly South African label rooted in African heritage and women's empowerment. Great to have you in studio with us, Londeka. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So you're wearing a South African flag on your
Yes.
shirt. People can see the shirt on Power FM's X account. That's a Malondié creation.
It is a Malondié creation. If you look at it on the side here, it is written Malondié. So basically, what I do with all my garments is that we will put that signature Malondié name or an emblem.
That's very cool. So I love the font. It's like a very creative font,
Yes.
in cursive.
In cursive, yes.
It's very
Thank
cool.
you.
Let's go back to the beginning. And what inspired you to start buying clothes overseas and selling them? Were you always passionate about fashion?
I was raised by a very strong and fashionable woman, and all the time I'd look at her. Fashion was her language. It went as far as at home when she's dressed. There's this other red dress that she used to wear. We'd know she's angry that day. You don't touch her. So fashion was definitely her language. So watching her growing up, that passion grew into me building a brand just by looking at her. Yeah.
So you were inspired by your mom, and then you decided to go overseas and purchase clothes. And
Yes.
what was missing in the South African market that you saw a gap?
It was the time when the internet was getting popular. Everyone was getting access to it. So when I started getting access to the internet, there was actually nothing in South Africa that was beautiful as how I wanted. There was a lack of creativity. So I found ways into getting clothes from abroad into South Africa, as far as traveling. And when I started doing that, I could see the interest, and I saw that there's definitely a gap in the market. So when I started doing that, I then later saw that let me actually start introducing, with all the knowledge that I have now, let me introduce my own collections.
So that was a process, of course, to found your own brand, founded in 2015.
Yes.
And how did you start with founding your own South African brand?
It started from the demand of me bringing stuff into the country. So from bringing some garments into the country, you'd get people having their own. You listen to what clients are saying. They would like something, but they'd want some changes here. They'd like something, but they want to add something. So I started then introducing the altering into the business. So we started doing alterations now from what we've brought in. From then we started actually having to create a whole garment. So the business grew from that we had to get it somewhere until we got into a stage where we had to actually create the whole thing.
And if you'd like to ask Londeka Buthelezi-Ndaba, the founder of Malondié, any questions or comments, you can call us on 0861 987 000, also taking voice notes and WhatsApps on 083 303 7093, or head over to our X account at PowerFM 987. So the question then is, where did you start this supply chain or pipeline? Because we've had a mixed history in South Africa around the textile industry and localization of that industry.
Sure. Actually, it is still very hard. When it comes to the textile industry, I feel that South Africa has so much that needs to be introduced and to improve or to learn from other countries. I was abroad recently, and when I saw their textile industry, I said to myself, we have a very long way to go. When it comes to what we used to be so great at knit, mohair, and, South Africa used to bring in such great textile until at a later stage, like we had factories closing down, and we still in a fight for that, to bring that back, you know. So I feel that with the relationships that I've been able to build here and abroad, I am able to create what I envision for the brand.
So you're launching this fashion business. It's
Yes.
largely been online. And
Yes.
what have been some of the positives and negatives around being an e-commerce retailer?
Sure. You know, when it comes, let me start with the negatives.
Okay. Whatever.
You know, with the negatives, it's that you do lose some clients because, you know, fashion is about a feeling. People want to feel the garment. People want to dress, want to fit. So you find yourself losing some sales because there's someone who's in Cape Town and they want that thing tomorrow. Unfortunately, they can't reach you because you are in Pretoria. So I would say that I could sell more if it wasn't only online, but or if I had more footprint around the country, it would be great. But with limited access, I feel like we do lose some sales. We do lose clients that have great interest in our garments.
You've also got some brick and mortar presence
Yes.
with pop-up shops.
Yes. So that is great, but it's still in Gauteng as well, because we are part of Africa Rise. We are part of House of Nala. So we are in Sandton. Both shops are in Sandton. It works, but it's not reaching the rest of the country.
So what would your dream be around Malondié?
Is expansion, you know. I would love to expand into major cities like Cape Town, you know, like go back to Durban, because that's where I started. I started in Durban, and also more stores in Gauteng. You know, Gauteng is still one of the biggest markets that we have. So it would definitely be to extend our footprint around here and also abroad. You know, we do get clients from abroad. They do purchase, but now with the tariffs, you know, things have just went a different direction, especially when it comes to courier fees. We have issues like a dress would cost, courier fees will cost more than the dress that the client has purchased. So they end up saying, well, you know what, maybe when I come to South Africa, then I'll get it. But we still have those challenges in the industry where we really can't expand as we want because of limited funds, you know, and limited resources within our country.
Let's go back a couple steps. And how did Dream Fashion change into Malondié?
Yo, when you know, Dream Fashion didn't speak the language that I wanted the brand to speak at the time. You know, I started envisioning Malondié as a luxury brand. I started envisioning Malondié as a brand that doesn't only cater for the South African market, but for the rest of the world. You know, it was the growth that pushed me to changing. It had to speak to me as a person because my name at home is Malondié. So I had to take it back there, that who am I? What inspired this journey? And it was because of where I come from. So the Malondié name made sense to me because I was then creating what made me.
That's powerful. And so a lot of different elements go into the Malondié brand, including very strong African heritage, women's empowerment. How do you infuse those values into clothing items?
So it's actually just learning the type of Malondié woman that you're catering to. A Malondié woman is a woman who loves the African heritage and is also innovative, you know. So when I infuse the two, I don't forget the African heritage. So the type of motifs that we put, the type of dresses that African women choose, and then I innovate that to the fashion that we love today.
So you keep a very close eye on trends at the moment?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, are there any trends that catch your eye or you think these are really fantastic?
I think, you know, there's this new trend that took me back. It's actually part of the collection I'll be launching on the 30th of August, when we were growing up, as a Zulu girl, there's this skirts that we used to wear called isdiya. So others call it iskeke. While I was doing my research, I saw that the Ndebele people call it iskeke, but as Zulu people, we call it isdiya. So it's part of my collection for the summer. We're launching a collection inspired by isdiya. So when I started seeing that, people are using tassels so much, and tassels and isdiya, it's a very close connection, you know. So when you look at that, that's how our heritage inspires innovation. You know, it's always a circle. Like everything, we always go back to where we come from. So it's exciting for me. When I introduced this idea to the team, everyone was excited because they already had an idea of what they can do, because we're implementing something that we saw growing up. I had one. I had a red and pink one, and my sister had a black and white. We all had it, and now infusing that into our current fashion, into our current trends, it's amazing, and people are so excited
for this coming collection.
Yes.
I saw some of the collections online. It's quite a wide variation.
Yes.
And how does an inspiration come? You mentioned your home, inspiration directly from your home. And how does inspiration come for other collections that you've launched?
You know, it could be anything. I remember there was a collection I was working on that was inspired by the fashion trip. It was a fashion research trip I took to Turkey. That trip, I was inspired by how the Turkish people view fashion, you know. So I came back and
how do they view fashion?
Let me tell you the story. So firstly, they started the fashion trends, not the fashion business, let me put it that way. The fashion business 50 years ago, and this is how they did it. Each household, they had to ensure that each household, they have at least one person who can create a garment from start to finish.
Wow.
So if that is forced into each and every household, imagine how many households are there. Because what the government said, we want later to be textile rich, we want to be fashion rich, we want to be, you know, they already had a vision of where they want to go. And when you got into their space, to them fashion is their daily bread. And they know that no household will ever go hungry because there is the textile industry in the country. So they make sure everyone is employed. That industry in Turkey is massive. I was really shocked. So for them, what we see small, I remember this other guy said to us, yeah, you can come to my studio, but just know that I'm a small fish in the industry. So we went to his studio. It was 3 floors.
Wow.
And I said to him, if you were to come to South Africa, you'd definitely then just laugh at our studios, because our studios are 1 floor or 2 floors. But the way his building was so big, and he finds himself as a small fish. He looks at himself as a small fish in that industry. So when you see the way they view fashion, for them, fashion is their daily bread. They say, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can see that clothes will always be needed. When you come in on earth, when a baby is born, the first thing they look for is clothes. And when they have to bury you, your family will have to find you something to wear. So they look at it as that you always need something to wear. So it's an industry that will never go out of business.
Now I'm embarrassed to say, when I went to Turkey, I totally missed the fashion industry. I was very focused on the Turkish carpet industry. I saw a lot of Turkish carpets.
It was beautiful. Yes,
stunning.
they are
Wow.
beautiful.
It's an incredible craft, the weaving, but I totally missed the fashion industry. So that's your grand vision, and an incredible vision. I can see how much it lights up, you light up when you talk about that, and of course all the incredible employment opportunities that the fashion industry could offer. Something else that the fashion industry is known for is being cutthroat. Is that a realistic depiction of the industry?
Definitely. It's, you know, I always say to my team that the reason why I need them to think faster with me is because if you don't do something today, you're going to wake up, someone's done it. And then when you do it after them, it's like you don't exist. Your idea is irrelevant. Also, you need to work every day. We need to push. the moment you miss a season, you miss one season, it's over for you. It's hard to get up. You need to constantly be working. If you win today, tomorrow you need to start working on a new project. So that's how it is. It's definitely cutthroat. You relax today, you wake up tomorrow, we've forgotten about you.
It's that quick. How about fast fashion playing any kind of role or impact? It's something that I read a lot about.
It's, what, we have fashion groups and we talk about it a lot. It's very, what's sad is that we can't compete with it. No matter how much we try, we can't compete with it because a price of your button is the price of their whole garment. So there's no way you can fight, you can, compete with them. But you then just, I remember one of our group members said, a person who buys from you will not buy from them. But at the end of the day, people will be tempted. Their pricing is crazy, So we are losing from that. And it's very sad that there's such an influx of it in the country. You even think that now they're doing product dumping, because I don't think there's any country in the world that experiences such. So they're giving us so much competition. I'm not gonna lie about that, and they're making it so hard for us. So we have to work 5 times harder just to meet our targets when they can reach their target in a day.
It's a huge challenge, and it's a huge challenge from a sustainability perspective as well. Let's go to the WhatsApp lines now. A question from Tsipang in Midrand. Hi, Londeka.
Hi, Tsipang.
As a woman running your own business, how do you manage the work-life balance? I'm trying to juggle between running a household and building a successful business. What works for you?
Sure. What works for me is support. This has helped me in all the years in business. I've always had support. I have my sisters around. I have my partner who's always supporting me. We always try to find a way to get support. So if you're in business, make it as part of your expenses. Support. Make sure you have that, because for you to, we get stressed by small things, and sometimes you can't drop everything because you have to go pick up maybe at school, or you have to be a mom today, or you have to be, so try to find ways around support. Try to have people around you who can be supportive of your journey, because it can be a very lonely journey and stressful journey. So you definitely need support for you to get it done.
You're, of course, a creative,
Yes.
and are you the designer?
Yes, I
at
am.
Malondié.
Yes.
And how do you juggle that with the very real administrative needs of a business?
I actually get creative at night. So when the world is asleep. So the admin part, yes, during the day, it's me and my team. I have 2 team members that help me with the admin part, and that works. But when it's time for me to get creative, then I wait for everyone to go to bed. And I sit with whether I have to do research I have to do research of the collection I'm trying to create, or I have to do some sketches. I wait for the night, and then I get creative.
So very long hours. We have a WhatsApp message from Lorato in Linden who says, I've got a business idea, but I'm scared to take the first step. What advice would you give to someone like me who's nervous about starting out?
Sure. If you don't start, my darling, then nothing's going to happen. What you need to do is to start whatever it is that you have to do. No matter how small, start from where you are. You're going to grow from where you are. So the only way you can get things done is to start moving. Unfortunately, you have to start.
Were you working at all while you started your...
I was.
Okay.
I was. I worked for a travel agent, and I hated it. I remember my boss coming to me and saying, Londega, I've been you, And I know the fire that an entrepreneur gets when they need to get something done. And it's not going to stop. So I'm saying to you, go and pursue your dreams. If it doesn't work, come back. I'll be here waiting for you. I knew he was not going to wait for me. But he was like, I'll be here waiting for you. Come back and we can start again. But go and fulfill yourself. So I was like, let me do it. And I did resign and I pursued fashion full time, and it has been working since then.
It's amazing that he saw that and was ready to give you an opportunity, kind of.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Every entrepreneur that we speak to, every startup talks about the challenge around capital. How have you navigated financing?
Sure. It's very hard. It's very hard in terms of capital. But when I started out, what worked is that I had that job I was talking about. So every time I had an order or I get paid, I will invest it back into the business. So there's been a lot of investing back into the business with whatever amount I make. I've done so much of that, which has assisted me in the growth. And also when you get companies like Retail Capital that can now finance you and help you in the growth of your business, they look at are you investing back into the business? So that is very important for any entrepreneur, that for even anyone to start looking at funding you, they want to see how invested are you. Do you sacrifice yourself just to invest back into the business, or is it all about you? So it's very important that we do that. Whatever amount you make, just try, especially when you're starting, invest back into the business until you're able to break even and grow from that. You
mentioned some of your dreams or your vision for Malondié earlier, and what's the next step around growing?
Around growing, it's international expansion. Definitely, I need my footprint across. I need it in Europe. I need it in New York. I need it in Paris. So my current research is around international expansion.
And the markets are receptive to these types of designs and to Malondié's brand?
Yes, they are. Well, we've had a few fashion houses in New York approaching us. There's one that has houses both in New York and Paris that we're currently in talks with. So if that works, then I'll be announcing.
Fantastic. And we'll have you back on the show when you have your collection in Paris or New York. Thank you so much for coming into studio, for sharing your journey with us. That's Londeka Buthelezi-Ndaba, who's the founder at Malondié. She's been with us on the SME Grind.
SME Grind was proudly brought to you by Small Business Services from Nedbank. You run the business, we'll handle the banking.
Power Business was proudly brought to you by MTN. Today, we make moves.